and welcome along. My name is Eddie and this is my vlog, and today is March the 5th. We're getting started on doing some ploughing today, getting our fields ready for the year. And to do that, as you can see, we are in the New Holland 180/55. This is a little bit of an oddity, this tractor. I love that this is on this farm, and we're going to have a little bit of a play with it. Now, I'm not sure it'll work wonderfully with this plough, and we may actually have to get the G series out on this. Because tractors, not really great for in-furrow ploughing. I'm hoping we're going to be able to get enough of the ploughing done with this without having to do that. But we'll see how we go. It should pull this plough fairly well. This is a fairly new Kverneland plough that came with the farm. I don't think they'd had it very long when we bought it, so it should work with this. I don't know whether they'd planned to use this with the G series originally or with this, and whether this was just sort of something that was still kicking around the farm, but I just had to give it a go. So yeah, we're going to be playing around with this. We're going to be in field 28 today, which is the one next door to us here that we own. And it's actually, they've been pretty good. They had a pretty good winter. They managed to plough everything except for this wheat field. Or everything is you're sort of going around and checking the ground. We don't need to plough anything other than this wheat field, I should say. We've got other fields that are that still have stubble in them, because they started trying to sell this farm after harvest last year. So I've got fields that have stuff in them. God, this thing turns on a dime. I'm not used to a tractor that spins like this. Wow. Okay. Yeah. We want to be a little bit more careful on the tracks. There we go. And it seems like a bit of an oddity to have around here. So we're going to give this a go. We're going to see if we can get it to work. And it's just all over the place. There we go. So we'll close this gate just so that that's not in our way. And we want to turn the initial furrows into the field. So I want to get my plough turned, like so. And I have a feeling we might be able to widen this a little bit. Just trying to see if there's any way to do that. No, that seems to be as far out as the plough goes. So we'll pop it down. Make sure that we're in, and away we go up the field. And it's certainly it's pulling the plough absolutely fine. It's really good. Really creaky. I mean, you guys can probably hear that. And a bit strange controlling it with the joystick rather than having a wheel in front of me. But I'm loving it. It's a cracking plough there. Cracking piece of kit for this. Now the interesting bit will come with us turning it. Because as I said, we want to stay on field with these tracks. While this isn't really an on-field plough, so if we stick our... we're okay, actually. That should do us, so as long as we're staying out. So I'll show you what I mean by this. So tractors are not ideal for ploughing in furrows, so putting your wheels in the furrow like this. They don't do very well. So normally a plough like this, where you're looking to in-furrow plough, wouldn't be so good, but it looks like we're able to get close enough to the other furrow that it's not going to cause too much of an issue to do it with this tractor. I do want to lift up slightly. We should be slightly over to the side there, like that. Yeah, and if we can stay out of this furrow, we will be good. So that's what I'm aiming to do. And they should be spreading enough on here that it should be okay. And yeah, we are doing all right. And I'm lining it up with the edge of the bonnet to give us the closest we can get with the minimal amount of issue. There we go. And I'm quite pleased with that. Now the great thing about this is wonderful for fields where you have very little turning available to you. I'm going about here, I think, for this. And so, with the very little turning available, you're able to quickly turn around. And it's an absolute advantage to using this tractor. It's great in the muddy fields, which we get a fair amount of rain up here. So, yeah, when we have a sort of a muddier time, this tractor will come into its own as well for doing other jobs. But for the ploughing, it is just absolutely brilliant. It's handling this job really, really well. And we just lift and turn, and we're straight round and straight lined up again. Just absolutely brilliant. And then I can line myself up, and it's got, its bonnet is basically its own GPS. And then we will, we'll just work our way across this field. So I'm going to crack on with this. And then I think I've been doing a little bit of research into this tractor, and I want to talk about that in a bit as well. But yeah, let's get into the meat of this field first, and then I can tell you a little bit more about this wonderful piece of kit that we're driving about in. So I spent a little bit of time with this now, and yeah, this is a really nice tractor to be doing ploughing with. It's just sort of breezing through this. It's a bit of a hard seat. No modern suspension in this. Ooh. If you do tweak it even slightly on the joystick, you end up going wildly off course. But not a huge problem, because it also sticks to its course as well if you don't touch the joystick. So yeah, I'm just it's a very nice tractor to work that kind of thing. I want to talk to you about, I did a little bit of research on this, because as I said at the start of this, never had one of these before, never had anything like this. In fact, never seen anything like this before. And it's one of those things which on the farm, which just went, yes, we've got to have to play around with this and see how this works without immediately modernising it. And I'm very pleased to have it around. It is when we do have fields that are a little bit muddier, and the ground is, we've had a lot of rain and things, this tractor is really going to come into its own. So, as you can tell, this being a New Holland, this is a later model of this tractor. The Fiat Agri 180/55 first came out in 1986. It was the first tractor to have the hydrostatic system on it, which was pretty revolutionary at the time, and yeah, so was very much ahead of its time at the time it was first released. But as you see, with New Holland coming in and the Fiat Agri brand being phased out, as we find with most of our tractors here, I think we only have one actual Fiat Agri on here. The rest is New Holland. From that time period where things were moving across. The G series we have is is pretty much the last of the series of Fiat Agri stuff that was released, and it's got the Fiat Agri branding on it. And we'll talk more about that tractor when we come to use that a bit more. But yeah, so this farm very much, its equipment is from that era, sort of very 90s, very 1990s that a lot of the stuff was brought here. The farm hasn't had that much spent on it since. As I was saying before, last vlog, a lot of the recent cash on the farm has been spent on new equipment rather than new tractors. So the tractors did very much what they needed them to, and they've been they were upgrading it, but it was a little bit too little, too late, and yeah. When the farm had to go, all this new equipment went with it. They didn't really have much of a farm sale here, I think. I think they, when we were looking for a farm which included a load of equipment, and they kind of just bundled it all in rather than selling it off at a farm sale first. So we grabbed it with all the equipment, which is I think it's a little bit odd as far as I know from farm sales. It's not often that you get a farm with all the equipment like that. Normally a farm is that's having trouble tends to sell off equipment before they sell off the farm, especially in this day and age, and start getting contractors in. Yeah, wasn't so much the case here. I think a lot of it was because of the age of the tractors on it, but yeah, to get the new converting equipment that they'd purchased in the last sort of 2-3 years included in as well, that was quite a coup. Otherwise, everything else, you know, the combine's old. The Bailey trailer, I think, is about 10 years old. So it's all the equipment on here is a little bit older. Yeah, it's going to do us well. And as I said, we have ordered a new tractor. We've got a new tractor on the way. Something that is going to allow us to do. Well, yeah, our plough is good. There's no cultivator on the farm, so I'm going to get a seeder. I've ordered a seeder with the new tractor that is a direct seeder. The trouble with the direct seeder is it requires a little bit more oomph, a little bit more horsepower, more than our G190 has. So that's why we've got new tractors to sort of do that and make sure that we future-proof ourselves a bit. So if we want to get some upgraded machinery and get something that requires a little more oomph, we have the tractor to do it. There we go. Yeah, because this, as I said at the beginning, this has 180 horsepower, this tractor. So this actually is only 10 horsepower less than our G series. And our G series very much is more for carting and general use around the farm, whereas this is more specialised, and our larger tractor is going to be more specialised. And then we got our 110, which is going to be more for sort of pottering around the farm, doing the smaller grass jobs, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think once we've got something, once a nice high-end tractor, we'll be able to, we'll be properly covered. I think, judging by how this farm was configured, this used to do a lot of the field work, this tractor. It's got a decent number of hours on it, and they have a, and it's, yeah, it strikes me as a tractor that would go well over things like ploughed ground and things like that. So it's, yeah, I think they used to use this very much as doing the field work on here. And with the hours on it, it's quite, you know, it's quite well used, but still functioning really well. I mean, it's in cracking condition, this tractor. So yeah, I'm very pleased with it. I'm very pleased to have it on here. So yeah, it's doing this field very nicely. This is one of the smoothest bits of ploughing I've done for a while, and I can tell because, as I said, not a lot of suspension in this seat, and I am not bouncing all over the place. We're coming to the end of the field now, and well, we're coming to the end of the main body of the field. I'm just trying to work it so we've got a single furrow to come along here. We're going to be ploughing this last bit of the field out. Yeah, we'll take that. Now, there's two ways that we can plough the field and do the headlands. We can plough in or we can plough out. We're going to do one headland ploughing out and one ploughing in. The one we're going to do ploughing out is going to be this top one here. And basically it means exactly how it sounds. You start from the inside and you plough out towards the edge. Whereas ploughing in is completely opposite. You start from the edge and plough into the field. So the difference you get between these two is that when you plough out, you end up with a ridge at the edge of the field, and when you plough in, you end up with a ridge in the field. And I'll show you what I mean by that. We've got to get this so that we overlap there and get the first search here, and you can see it's turning the furrows into the field. So we end up with the actual furrows turning over and into the field, so we get no trench in the middle where it's been turned away. And this is easier on tractors and things at the when they're turning and when they're planting this. Now what I do want to do is turn this bit out as well. So we're going to go up the edge of the field here and do the same along here. So we don't need to turn the plough while we're doing this. And just get down this edge piece here. And it's just looking absolutely fine and dandy. And you can see that's then turned that out. Or it's turning it in to the field. Yeah, I forget which way round it is. But it's, yeah, you can see that so we're turning the furrows into the field at the moment. Like that. And that leaves us with a ridge at the edge of the field there. And with that edge, a ridge there, we're good. And we can start working our way across. We don't need to turn the plough here because it's already set the way we need to go. Like so. And down. And yeah, so there we go. That is the first technique. We turn the furrows into the field for the headland, and it means that we get a nice clean turnover going that way, and makes it a little bit easier to work the field when we need to. And we'll do the opposite technique at the other end of the field. So coming to the end of this top end of the headland, and you can see now that we've got this ridge coming down the outside of the field here, where we've turned our furrows into the field and we've got no ridge in the centre here. So it's just a much cleaner way to do that. We end up with a little bit in the corner here we can't do, but then that is ploughing for you. And yeah. So if I turn my furrows here, I should be able to get into this corner and just finish this bit off. Like so. There we go. And that has that done. Get off where we've ploughed. And then we're going to do the same down the edge here. We're going to turn this so that it's following the way we've done the rest of the field. We've got this little patch here that we want to try and get as well. But yeah, going down this side here, we should do the same. So that there, down we go. And we'll just catch as much of this as I possibly can. And we head down the headland here, and this now we're doing the same thing here. We're turning it into the field, making sure that we're creating as little disruption along this headland as we can, because obviously this is where we worked our way across the field, and just trying to blend it in as much as we can and keep it as clean as we can, and it's easy to seed as well. Because, yeah, the easier it is to seed, the better it will be overall. And it's getting this, sometimes with these bits it's quite hard to make sure you get it all, but we're good, we're okay. We've left a little bit, but it's a very minor bit. Right, and then along this bottom end, so I'll take this all the way as far as I can, we're going to do the opposite. So what we're doing along this headland is we've turned our plough, and we're putting our edge, or we're putting, yeah, the first bit and turning it out of the field here. Like so. And alternating the two. And then we will work our way in towards the, we'll work our way into the field as well, to finish this off. You can see the difference this makes. We've now got the ridge on the infield side. We're turning the furrows out of the field, and it is all going fairly nicely. And it's actually how we want to do this little bit here as well, because this is how this end of the field started as well. So we bring this here and down, and just work this in as well. And it sort of just works out for how we're using the field to do it this way. And it means that we try to alternate, when we're ploughing, we try to alternate which way the field gets ploughed, because that way you move stuff around more easily. You keep the soil nice and loose, and things don't keep turning towards one side of the field, and you avoid making a massive mound on one side of the field as a result. You'd end up with this big sort of lump one side of the field if you always plough it the same way. So you want to try and alternate your ploughing to make sure that the soil keeps getting turned and moved back across the field each time. Otherwise, yeah, you just end up with big mounds at one side, and it gets harder to work the field. You lose soil in the field. Yeah, just better really to alternate things and move things across. So yeah, this is ploughing, and this is how we work it, and make sure that we keep our fields as usable as possible. There we go, and round. And once again, I do like the maneuverability of this tractor. This has made ploughing a dream in a way that I haven't ever experienced with a tractor. Just the maneuverability for turning at the ends has made this job so much easier. But you can see now, actually, I'll show you guys before we go any further. You can see now we're putting the ridge down this bit here and turning the soil away from the centre of the field. And so that's the difference between the two techniques. And we try and alternate them and use them across the field in several places. We may have to do one more run across this. That might get it. Or gets it to a standard that is acceptable at the very least. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So there we go. That is the field done. I'm very happy with that. That's turned that really well. That's made that very nice for seeding. So we are in a very good place. So as a result, that is where I'm going to leave today's vlog. All that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from the farm, please subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.